Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming to the channel. Mixers, producers, scrap that. Mixers, engineers. We're going to be talking about finalizing mixes. Producers who put out beats like a factory and don't mix them and don't engineer them. Today, we're going to be just talking about mixing and engineer. Let's get into it. Let's go. Thanks for coming to the channel, Flav Media. Today we're going to be wrapping up this hip-hop trap, whatever you want to call it, just giving you the details on how I mixed it, how I arranged it, and just the fundamentals of just trying to create a tangible process song, if that makes sense. And now, this is no disrespect to all my good producers out there, the youngest that's putting together these wonderful beats, but when you put them together, you putting it to the side, you letting the mixer do it, you letting the engineer master it. My strive and passion is doing all three. I know it's impossible to probably do all three. That's why when I do my beats or when I do my mixes, I'm giving you the whole entire song. Like other top engineers, they'll play certain parts because it's not their song, it's the artist's song, and sometimes they don't want the artist's song leaking. With me, I am my own artist. I'm giving it to you all. If I mixed it, if I produced it, if I engineered it, I'm giving it to you straight to the chase. I'm giving you all the elements that I'm doing with it. So we're gonna dive into this finalized track and the arrangement, the fundamentals of the sound. Let's dive deep into it. Let's go. I know the intro was harsh. All the elements that I described is obtainable as far as songwriting, producing, mixing, and engineer. I only know of one person that can do it all. His name is Ray Parker Jr. Didn't have any formal school training. Go look him up on YouTube. He done it all, and he has the credits to back it up. So if this is your passion, you can do it. Let's get back to the music. The first order in business, if you're really passionate about what you're doing, this sound palette has to be phenomenal. Now, if you're dragging and dropping loops, whatever the case is, however you create, just make sure the sound palette is right. Some producers don't pick the right sounds. It's just make sure your sound palette is nice. Now, this intro was basically just a swell, and I did add a couple of elements in it. Okay, so that's my sound palette. So I think that should be the number one thing, is your sound palette. Two, if your CPU is struggling, I said this in previous videos where I had the meta plugin and I had a bunch of plugins that I was using. Let me engage it. So my CPU was spiking. I was spiking probably at 80 to 90%. So this is just a simple swell. So what I did was I bounced it down, converted it into pink. The top was the MIDI. I converted it. I committed to it. So always think that if this is going to be something basic, commit to it, dump it down, free up resources, disable your plugins, and keep it moving. That's going to be number two. So the next one I would think is choosing the right tempo of your song. So creating trap, we all know trap is 145, 150, 160. Just choosing the correct tempo will give you better results than if you were to have it at 90 or 98 beats per minute. Okay, number three, I think arrangements. Now, this song is arranged on how I would think a rapper would want to spit on it, right? So let's just go to a section where I think this is going to be, and even though I don't have it labeled verse, intro, outro, but you get the idea. So this blank part here is going to be where the verse is going to come in. Let me just play a little snippet. And the whole idea of letting space get away so the artist can breathe on the track. A lot of producers, they go from start to finish, no drop, no mutes, no necessarily production styles like an engineer would bring to it, because you got to let the MC be able to breathe on the track. So the next one is going to be, you know, just EQ low pass filters out. You know, Noah Shabib from Drake's producer Mixer, he filters a lot of different elements out. In the intro, outro, he might filter the whole song. So giving it that filter effect allows any MC or artist to breathe on the track with the instruments. So that's going to be another quick good tip for you. The next one is going to be, if you're a producer and you're in a closet with 8-inch monitors with a sub, it doesn't make any sense at all. Buy yourself a pair of 5-inch monitors, take the sub out, use your headphones if possible, because you're not getting the right sound. Okay, the next tip, proper gain stage. Now, with this track, even though I'm pumping up all the elements, you never want to go over -1 on your output. Okay, so with me, you gain staging it. You know, I have a gain plugin. I have a standard Logic EQ. I'm rolling off low pass and high pass, because some of that frequencies you really don't want in your mix. And whatever your chain is, you create your chain. And at the very last, I have a apogee soft limit to catch those peaks, so it won't go over that -1 output. Bust your effects. You always want to bust your effects. So like with this is a small session. I have a crystalline, I have a Valhalla, and I have a BX room. You want to bust your effects to the appropriate bus, whether it's your snares, hi-hats, whatever it is, piano session, bust it to a separate bus instead of having it inserted on each and every individual channel. I'm using the crystalline, I'm using the BX room, and I'm using the H delay, and I'm using the Valhalla Supermassive. So I'm busting out certain things that I want inside that mix. That's one of the things you really want to try to do. You let me know in the comments below, what do you think about it? I'm going to play it in its entirety. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so I can bring more and more content like this. And if this is giving you value, please give it a thumbs up. Let's get into it.